Microsoft just published a blog post that, honestly, I never thought I'd see. The EVP of Windows basically admitted that Windows quality hasn't been good enough and laid out some specific things they're going to change. Now, many of the Windows optimization and customization tools like WinHance that I've been building and many others exist specifically because of what Microsoft wasn't doing to make Windows 11 better. But it looks like Microsoft is finally starting to listen to the Windows users and giving them what they want. So let me walk you through what they're promising and whether I actually believe them. So the Windows Insider Program team put out this blog post here titled Our Commitment to Windows Quality. Now, the writer of this post is saying that over the past several months, the team and I have spent a great deal of time analyzing your feedback, which is the feedback from the Windows users or the Windows insiders. And this came through from a voice of people who care deeply about Windows and wanted to be better. And in this post, they're going to outline some of the initial changes that they have planned for the Windows insiders for this month, which is March 2026, throughout April. So let's have a look at some of these changes that they're actually going to implement. And the first one is more taskbar customization, including vertical and top positions. So Microsoft is giving us back the ability to move the taskbar in Windows 11. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'd know that I use a program called Start All Back to have the ability to move the taskbar to the top of the screen. Now, this change alone makes me really excited for what Microsoft has planned for Windows 11 if they actually implement this, but there are some more cool things they also have planned. So stick around till the end of the video so you get the full picture. But if we look at the taskbar customization that they want to add back to Windows 11, you can move the taskbar to any part of the screen. Now, you used to be able to do this in the first versions of Windows 11. You couldn't do it through the Windows settings, but you were able to edit the registry and then get the taskbar and the start menu into the position that you'd want them in, on the sides of the screen or on the top of the screen. But they removed that in some of the Windows 11 updates, and a lot of people were unhappy about it, including myself. So adding back the ability to move the taskbar to any part of the screen is a huge win in my books. Secondly, they're stating that they're going to be integrating AI where it's most meaningful with craft and focus. So they're going to be more intentional about how and where Copilot integrates across Windows. So they're going to be focusing on experiences that are genuinely useful and well crafted, in their own words. Now, as part of this, they're reducing unnecessary Copilot entry points, starting with apps like Snipping Tool, Photos, Widgets, and Notepad. Now, this is great, but the words they use here is a little bit confusing because are they just going to be more intentional about where they add Copilot integration, or are they going to give you the ability to completely turn it off because that's what users want? They want to be able to rid the operating system of any AI. This is a very good starting point because a lot of people have complained about the Copilot integration into apps like Notepad, for example. But what I would like to see is for them to give you the option whether you want to enable or disable these AI features in these apps, not just be more mindful about where they integrate them. So we'll see how they're going to do that in the upcoming Insider Preview builds, but this is a really good starting point in my opinion. Now, next up, we have reducing disruption from Windows updates. So receiving updates should be predictable and easy to plan around. So we're giving the user more control. This includes the ability to skip updates during the device setup to get to the desktop faster. Now, this is quite ironic because I made a video a while ago complaining about the stuff that I don't like about Windows 11. It would be funny if Microsoft watched that video. But one of the things that I complained about is setting up a new computer and then having to be stuck on the Windows update screen as part of the onboarding process, which could take hours depending on the internet connection that you have. And in that video, I did ask for an ability to skip those updates, or at least that they shouldn't be forced upon the end user as part of the onboarding process. Then they also state adding an option to restart or shut down without installing any updates that have been downloaded, and then to also pause updates for longer when needed, all while reducing update noise with fewer automatic restarts and notifications. Because if you've used Windows 11 for a while, you'd know that if you don't control these updates, it will just randomly restart your computer to get that update installed. A lot of people I've seen online complain about playing games and then Windows Update just restarts their computer, or they might be in the middle of something and Windows Update just restarts the computer to get the update installed. So what Microsoft is promising here is that they're going to reduce the disruption from these Windows updates, and they want to give the user more control over it. Now, like I mentioned at the start of this video, this is why these types of optimization and customization Windows tools exist, like Winons that I've been working on. And you'll see that I also have a Windows Update policy setting here where you can have control over the Windows updates. So seeing Microsoft add something like this natively is really good to see, because honestly, a setting like this shouldn't even have to exist in a Windows optimization tool like this. This should be part of Windows already. And what I'm not reading here is that they're giving you the ability to choose which updates you want to install. So they're saying here that you can pause the updates for longer when needed. But how long is longer? When is your updates going to be paused too long? And then another thing with regards to pausing the updates is that I've heard people saying that their updates are paused and new updates are still getting installed. I haven't personally had this happen on my machine, but I have seen those types of comments on my videos. Another gripe I have with pausing the updates is that the Windows Update service is still running in the background. It's being used for other things. So those updates might not get installed on your computer if they're paused, but the Windows Update service is still running in the background and using resources from your system to do its background tasks. For me personally, what I would like to see Microsoft add with regards to the Windows updates is number one, give us an option to choose the updates that we want to install. If you can think back to Windows 7, if you'd access the Windows Update through the control panel, you'd have a list of available updates. They'd be categorized, whether they're security updates or whatever, and you could choose each update individually that you want to install, and you could also skip updates or tell Windows Update not to notify you about that specific update because you don't want it installed on your system. That's the first thing I would want to see, is give us more granular control over which updates we get to install on our systems. Not just pausing the updates for a long time and then still have to install those updates that we don't want. And point number two is kind of tied in with point number one, is separate the security updates from the feature updates. A feature update should be something completely different than a security update. Because if you look at the track record for Windows updates for the past year, and I mean 2026 has been a nightmare, it's been a disaster for Windows updates. People's computers are breaking, there are weird bugs that's happening because of these large cumulative updates that Microsoft is pushing. Don't bundle it into one large update. And then in the list of available updates in the Windows Update settings page, you can just add a checkbox next to each of these items and give users the ability to choose which updates they want to install. I can see from the UI here, I can choose to install these different items, but the point is this cumulative update here contains security updates as well as new features. I want to have a feature update, like features, and this will be the taskbar customization, removing Copilot from these apps, that type of thing, and then security updates for actual vulnerabilities. This is a great start. Don't get me wrong, this article does show that they've listened to the feedback from the end users and maybe some of the YouTubers who've complained about Windows 11 as well. But specifically for the Windows updates, because it's such a big topic right now with the buggy updates that have been released, more work needs to be done here. The updates can't just be paused for a longer amount of time and just not forcing the automatic restarts on people. The actual quality of the updates needs to be better as well. Then they're going to be focusing on a more dependable and faster file explorer. So they'll be focusing on a quicker launch experience for the file explorer and reducing flicker. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but sometimes when you open the file explorer, it gives you this flash of white on the screen, especially if you're using Windows in dark mode. And then it only starts up and starts displaying the stuff in the Windows File Explorer. So while reduced flicker and smoother navigation and more reliable performance for the File Explorer isn't on the top of my list, I do like to see them working on this too, because it is going to improve the overall experience in Windows. Then they're also vowing to give you more control over widgets. So they say widgets should feel helpful and relevant, not distracting or overwhelming. So they're going to introduce quieter defaults and give you more control over when and how widgets appear, and improved personalization for the Discover feed. Now, this is great, but we need to be able to turn off widgets. If we don't want widgets, We don't just want to personalize it to show us what we want to see. We want to get rid of it. And once again, if we look at my app WinHans in the customization section for the taskbar, I've got these toggles for Windows 11 and Windows 10 where you can enable or disable the widgets or the news and interests as it was called in Windows 10, so that you don't see it at all. So for the widgets, me personally, I don't just want to have more personalization options for what I see in the Discover feed. I actually want to be able to completely disable it. Then they have some more improvements here with regards to the Windows Insider program. That's how we as Windows users can help shape the future of Windows. Now, as part of this, they've improved the feedback hub, and this is already available. So they're saying that our feedback as Windows users is essential to improving Windows, and it should be easy to share and see what others are saying. So they've got this new update to the feedback hub, which you can access from inside Windows. You can make a suggestion, report a problem, whatever. The point is, Microsoft is now actively asking for suggestions from the community. So while this has existed before, the Windows Insider program isn't something new, the Feedback Hub isn't something new, but what is new is Microsoft is promising to listen to what the users are saying. And they're saying that they're committed to improving the quality of Windows. So now is the time to help them help you. If you have a suggestion for them, or if you're willing to test some of these features in the Windows Insider preview builds when they release, then go ahead and do that. So when these features are released into the stable Windows Updates release channel, that they are actually working for all of the users. So they're saying the work is underway, and we can expect to see these changes in the next preview builds throughout the rest of the year. The writer also says that Windows is as much yours as it is ours. Now, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. You can make of that what you will. I don't particularly believe that, not up until this point in any case, but they are saying that they are committed to improving the quality of Windows, and that they're relying on our feedback to help us shape the future of Windows together. Now, personally, I'm really excited for all of this. I think these are some good signs coming from Microsoft, saying that they're actually listening to the end users, but we'll have to see whether they actually implement this, and when they do, if it actually works. But regardless, as it stands today, I think these are some really good signs for Windows. Now, I'm going to be covering every single one of these changes as they roll out to the Windows Insiders on the Insider builds. But I want to know, which of these changes are you most excited about? Is it the taskbar customization? Is it the Windows Update control, the Copilot cleanup from the apps, or is it all of them? Let me know which ones you're most excited about in the comments down below. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. I make Windows related content every single week. And if you've never watched my video on the things that I hate about Windows 11, go ahead and watch the video that's on screen now, because it's related to a lot of the things that Microsoft is promising that they're going to fix with these new Windows updates.